those who don't know me, I'm David, Sarah's dad, and on behalf of my wife Sheila and me, oh not Sheila, Maria, we would like to welcome you all here today to celebrate the marriage of our daughter Sarah and Tom. I know a lot of you have travelled considerable distance to be here, so a special welcome to them. When I first thought about organising this wedding, I was quite worried about getting everything just right. Actually, I found it all quite easy once Sarah and Tom gave me the themes they wanted, which was informal, on trend, and hunt the venue. Did everyone find the venue okay? Hunt the venue. Well, I would now like to thank all those who helped me in achieving this special day. I've given this part of the bride's speech a lot of thought. I've been given lots of advice on how things should be done and what should be said. And that the important thing to remember, it is Sarah's day. But it is my day as well. And I want to relish and share with you so many things. I have so much to tell you. Just smile. I want it to be the most memorable speech you have ever heard from my daughter Sarah. I've been told people don't remember things you say, but they remember how you made them feel. So prepare yourself to feel a lot. This will be one of those speeches not out of a self-help book, but it will be coming from my heart. Now, I'm not saying that Tom and Sarah's relationship has taken a long time to mature. It has been a slow and steady romance. I used to think in the early years of the relationship, I would say, and my father the bride's speech, as I walked my dog Bouncer. Our first prototype speeches included bits about Mrs. Thatcher, the miners' strike, Queen Avery, but things have moved on. Now, Sarah asked, as I said, the celebration was to be informal, so I decided to fit in with that, and I will be doing a compendium of short stories rather than a speech. I would say that some of these stories are true, some are nearly true, and some I would like to be true. Now, I did not share these stories with anyone prior to today, as I knew they would want to dilute or water them down, and I wanted you to have them neat, vivid, and untainted. The theme of these stories is on the edge and loose cannon. The first story is What is in a Name. It's called What is in a Name. Now, I just happened to be looking up Google at the name Bidwell to see if there were any criminals with the name. I found that the name Bidwell goes back to the 16th century, and the Bidwells are all over the world. They started in the UK and went to Ireland, they're in America, all over the place. The name originated from a man who kept livestock and went to auctions to buy and sell. And he was known for bidding at the right price and at the right time. He bought well. And that was where the name Bidwell came from. Anyway, I was speaking to George, and George, Tom's brother, and he said he didn't think that was correct. And he said he felt that the name originated from a man who bid you well. When he met you, he would bid you well. When you said goodbye, he would bid you farewell. So I thought that could be Bidwell as well. So there's two ways of looking at it. Then, in Google, I find that there is a Bidwell Indian community at the Fort Bidwell Reservation. So there was three interesting things in it. Then, I was listening to Radio 4, Thought for the Day, and it was an Indian lady speaking about the differences between Asian and European relationships. And that our relationships, as European, start hot and then they cool. Whereas the Asian relationship starts cool and grows hot. Their relationships are a lot slower process. I thought, hold on a moment, that's a little bit like Sarah and Tom's romance. This has not been one of your whirlwind romances, this has been a slow and steady romance. Then the penny dropped. It all fell into place. As I went and asked Sarah about what her name would be when she got married, she said, "My name would be Mrs. Sarah Bacon," with a nodding head. Did anybody see that coming? Sarah Bacon. My second story. You're going to keep going there. My second story is about my wonderful daughter Sarah. The love of a daughter by a father is an incredibly powerful thing. In fact, I think it is a love that is at its purest. It's an undiluted love, and I love Sarah so much. When the registrar asked me who is the person who is giving Sarah away, I thought, I can't believe it, that one of the most precious people in my life that I have cherished all these years, loved, encouraged, admired, and I've just given her away. I could not believe what I was saying. I thought, I must be able to get something for her. As well as the love I have for her, I've done a lot of things. That is amongst my greatest memories. I should tell you the first, that Sarah's name came from Portobello Road, Woolworths, where I worked as the manager, and it was 1978. And people can think back that far. It was the Notting Hill riots, and I would say I was the manager of Portobello Road, and there was a girl who worked in the office, and she was a gentle, quiet girl, and her name was Sarah. So it was quite a hostile area, and she was Sarah. And then her second name is Kay, and that's named after Kay, our friend over there, who was also a gentle girl. I feel Sarah has taken those characteristics and is also kind and gentle. Now, having said that, Sarah's always been a focused, single-minded, in some ways, a bit strange. Where she gets that from, we just don't know. We have never said, you can't do that, Sarah. We've always encouraged her to be a free spirit. An example of this was the wedding dress. The one she liked was a 9-month lead time, so Sarah asked if the sample was for sale. I would say it was a size 14. Sarah said to Magic Maria, "Can you make it a size 8? Magic Maria said, "I'll just go and get my wand. It will only involve taking off 1,000,000 beads and sequins." Anyway, 50 hours of close beadwork and bleeding fingers, the creation was transformed from a size 14 to a size 8. So if you know anyone who is a size 6, we have to fit so Magic Maria and she'll run the one up. I would say, however, it does look a bit nice. As a child, I did a lot of Sarah's firsts with her. I was with her when she did her first solo toboggan run when she was only 6. What happened was I let her go at the top of the hill and I could not catch her. She shot me like a shot. I didn't even have time to do health and safety checks. I always did. She went through loads of bushes and her steering was rubbish. I taught her the death leap. This built up a trust between us. I used to put her on my shoulders and she would stand up. I would hold her ankles and then she would leap off in a star jump, and it was how close we got her to the ground was the best jump. She was a thrill seeker. I can tell you she had a little dolly called Nellie that was bigger than her. And Sarah said that Nellie needed new shoes. And Maria, Melissa and Sarah took Nellie to Epsom and they bought new shoes for her dolly. So she was a bit odd. One occasion when she was about 8, I took her out as Divvy Dolly the dummy to a children's party at Stella and Rich's home. Divvy Dolly was Sarah and I took her in a suitcase. It was most probably classed as abuse now. But I had the DVD of it and anyone wanted copies, I'm doing it $14.95. Then there was Sarah's school sports day. Sarah had been chosen for the javelin because she had that power upper body, the javelin throw. She she came home and asked if I would teach her to throw the javelin. So I did javelin training with Sarah. Every time she threw it, the tail of the javelin used to smack her on the back of her head. And it was quite pitiful to watch. When I asked who she was up against, she said it was a girl who looked like Fatima Whitman. I didn't think she was that much chance there. They are now all just happy memories. Years on, and she's become a confident young lady who is real fun to be with. Tom talks about Sarah's world. She does live in a world, and it's a world of love, peace and harmony. She feels her life with these things, and there's no room for little nasties. Sarah's world is where I like to go and think of the great wonderful things I come with her. I feel completely at ease in her company and love her for that. I asked Sarah a few years ago who she thought had been her biggest influence in her life. I thought it would have been Anushka or Katie Watkins or Melissa. And Sarah said she thought it was me.
Not me.
That's what she said. So when I got home that night, I was laying in bed with Maria and I said, do you know what Sarah said to me? And I told her, and Maria said, funny that, she said the same thing to me a couple of weeks ago. I thought, what a little people pleaser. This is the third story, it's not normal. There's another two. Do you want to hear the next one? This is called New Technology Meets Old Man. I've only had one problem with Sarah, and that was in Facebook. This was a club I was introduced to where you meet friends you didn't even know you had. Attached my picture of my face, and to enhance it, I included the top half of my body. To be honest, it was taken a few years ago. I then started Facebooking. I noticed all my friends were doing fascinating, interesting things, and that mine seemed a bit mundane. Then I thought I could bathe myself in the glory from some of my children's successes, and that this could lift my profile. Sarah had been nominated Employee of the Year at her blog. So I did a Facebook entry telling all my new friends this fascinating news about my wonderful daughter and sat back. Then the downside of Facebook hit me like a dagger to my heart. I received an email from Sarah stating if I ever did this again, she would defriend me. Now, I've never been defriended before, but felt stunned, shunned and disturbed. I contacted Facebook to see if there were any support groups for defriended people, as I was concerned I would also lose other friends if Sarah defriended me, like Katie Watkins. I told Facebook their social network site had a responsibility. They did not want to know. Suggested I try Barnardo's or Samaritans. Sarah and I have never spoken about it since. That's enough about my daughter. There are two people in this marriage. Now what about Tom? Full story called First Impressions. Now I'm very aware that a relationship can be soured if it gets on the wrong foot. I was also aware that Tom and Sarah's relationship was marking time a bit. I decided I must speak to Tom. When we were on our own, I said I wanted to speak to him. Tom replied that I should write a list and we could have a meeting. That night, Maria said, and what does that mean? I said, it means it will be all right. I also thought, Tom won, Dave nil. A couple of years passed, Maria said, you've got to man up and speak to Tom. This is a new term, man up. I thought, I can do manning up. Now I should say at this time, I have been trained in negotiating skills. I thought I'd play on man's insecurity. This could be Tom's Achilles heel. When the time was right, I spoke to Tom. I spoke about the relationship, and that at present, I was Sarah's next of kin. If she died, it would be my responsibility to bury her, and I would get all her worldly goods. As being a partner would count for nothing. Now, Tom, I said, if you were married, that would all change and you'll become Sarah's next of kin. Also, you'll become my son. This would mean that I would love you like a son, rather than at the moment. Tom said, you just like me. I said, yes, Tom, like just like you. Tom thought for a while, and then he said, he was quite happy with life. I said, okay then. So my negotiation skills had failed me. It was now Tom 2, Dave 0. Then the final story is the staircase. About 6 months ago, Tom came over and helped me put up a staircase in my garage. This was a considerable task, as neither of us had done one before. We knew we had to make a hole in the ceiling, because the staircase had to go open through it. But how big a hole would you make? Tom did some calculations. He's got a maths O level. Really? Yes. And we cut the hole with Tom's electric saw. We then offered up the staircase, and the hole was just 2 inches too long. I thought, magic. Tom, we did well, so we just needed a 2-inch infill. We stopped for our lunch, and then Tom said he wanted to speak to me. I wondered what it was. He then asked me if he could have the hand of Sarah in marriage. To be frank, he caught me unawares when he asked. I was consumed with a tremendous feeling of happiness and joy. I was a little speechless. I could see that Tom was aware of my delight and did not want to appear too eager. Gathered my composure and I said, suppose I was to say, no, Tom, I would not. Quick as a flash, he came back with, that would not be a problem, because he'd agreed with the jewellery shop a 30-day money-back guarantee. At that point, I felt I should have given him a hug, as it was a memorable moment between us I felt we should cherish. Now, man hugs are quite a recent reason. My friend Mike introduced me to a couple. But that was two men of a similar age hugging. In this case, it was an old man and a young man on our own. Would he reject me? Would he sidestep me? How long would we hug for? And when does a hug become a cuddle? After all this toing and fro in my mind, the spontaneity was gone. It would have appeared a bit of an afterthought, so we stayed with tradition and we shook hands. Tom then said that I should not tell anyone, as he wanted it to be a surprise for Sarah. I said, no problem, as I can always keep a secret. So if you have any secrets and you want to get them off your chest, you can leave them safely to me. After Tom and Sarah left, I emailed Tom, telling him of the delight and that I had wanted to give him a hug, but was unsure if it was appropriate. 2 weeks passed, and we were up at Tom's house, and he greeted me with, "You owe me a hug, Dave." So we hugged. For the first time, and let me tell you, he's got some powerful upper body. And now they're married, and I want to say on behalf of Maria and me that we are both loving Tom, and that we're sure you will both make each other very happy. I want to finally ask one thing. All you guests are here because Tom and Sarah love you, and I want you to do something in return. As they travel through their lives together, they will each help each other deal with things that life throws at them. Sometimes they will not have an answer between them, and that is where you all fit in. I want to compile a book with each of the guests' names and contacts, plus one word of wisdom on what you feel is most important in a marriage or partnership. Secondly, your specialist area of expertise that you'll be able to give to Tom and Sarah. When I spoke to Chris about this, she said it was like having a personalised yellow pages. I said yes. I have my list. If I want to do building work, I speak to my brother-in-law, Jeff. If I want to bake a cake, I speak to my mother-in-law, Mary. Psychology question, I speak to my daughter, Melissa. If I have a medical problem, I speak to my friend, Mike. Now, as I was mulling over this idea, I thought, who had a good lasting marriage and thought of our Queen? So I wrote to her a letter, nice letter to the Queen, telling her of this wedding. Said, my name is David Gilders, my daughter is called Sarah. We've tried over the years to be very loyal subjects. I've written to you before, and you sent a very nice letter to my friend Kay on her 40th birthday. It was much appreciated. My reason for writing is that on the Saturday the 21st, my daughter is getting married after a marathon romance of 11 years. Another loyal subject. As Sarah's father, I want the marriage to be lasting and loving, and will be asking all the guests of the father of the bride's speech to give a short, meaningful note on what has kept their relationship strong and sweet. The magic of your marriage for many years has been a shining example to us all, and a few words of wisdom would be really appreciated. I'll read them out to Sarah and Tom's wedding. Maria, my wife, and we were at Ascot on Ladies' Day and saw your horse Estimate win the Gold Cup. It was lovely to see the joy and excitement on your face. Well, thanks in advance. If you could help me making my daughter's wedding day special, I will sing your praises as our Queen that still does memorable magic moments for her people. It advises on Google I should sign off with Madam Your Majesty's humble obedient servants. I prefer Love David and Maria Gilders. Anyway, then, letter, Balmoral Castle. Dear Mr. Gilders, the Queen wishes me to write and thank you for your letter and for the loyal sentiments which you have expressed. Her Majesty greatly appreciates your kind comments on the success of her horse Estimate of Royal Ascot, and the Queen was glad to know that you too have such happy memories of that memorable day. You say that your daughter Sarah is to marry her fiancé, Mr. Tom Bidwell, on the 21st of September. And although it is not Her Majesty's practice to send personal messages on such an occasion, the Queen was pleased to hear of this family. Thank you once again for your thoughtful letter and hope that the 21st of September will be a happy one. Signed, no, by Queenie, Phil and the kids.